What up, peeps? Oh, it's been a long time coming, y'all. Long time coming. I gotta share this with y'all. I took a break from making videos for a while because when I get in my deep studies, I kind of shift gears and going into something different other than what I've been talking about. And before I actually start talking about it, I want to, for one, get understanding about it. And for two, I got other things I've been taking care of as well. Dealing with my, raising, taking care of my dad, and some of y'all already know in the private. I lost my mom recently. Well, I lost my mom a few months ago, actually right before Christmas, right before like a week before Thanksgiving, and trying to keep the family together and all that good stuff. And still, we kind of still going through it, but we moving on. We pushing forward. Meanwhile, y'all know many of y'all already know about my case I got going on, and this is it's very interesting. It's actually getting kind of fun. Yeah, it's actually getting kind of fun because the fact is, it's like when you know what to do about situations, it's easier for you to deal with it when you know what to do. And this go around after an extremely stressful round last go around. When that last time I was dealing with a child support case, child support / custody case, because it was a domestic case, but it was also dealing with child support too, because nobody ever actually asked for custody and don't want child support. You don't know no baby mama do that. But it was so I failed at the custody part, but the child support part, they backed away from that. So that's why, that's how I actually. But anyway, probably just burned them out because I was giving out too much of a damn headache. But I'm a hell of a lot more sharper than I was back then. Now, so here we go. Surety. I want to talk about surety today. Many of us, we always we talk about how we've always been taught to not ever be the surety. You don't want to be the surety. They want you to be the surety for the debt. And we never actually look up these words. And until we start understanding what these terms actually mean and look up many sources to actually get better understanding and not just listen to people on videos, videos telling you that and they're using their own interpretation without showing you no law to back up what the fuck they're saying. This is the Black's Law Dictionary you're looking at on the screen. 6th edition, I want to say 6th edition, 1990. It came out in 1990. Back in the day, I was really kind of using the 2nd edition back in the days, but I'm like, cause we like to look at the old books thinking that the new books are not, good enough to read because you got to go back to the etymology and the original. I'm like, times change. That's why they have new editions of these books. Because of the times change, the laws are going to change. The meaning of terms are going to change. And we have to move with it and update ourselves and our thinking when it comes to these things. Just like back in the 1800s, some people look at etymology of words and, back in the 1800s, back in the days when slavery was even legal, women didn't have rights, this was a way of life. That was the common way of how things were going at the time. That was the way society operated, and the laws were adjusted according to how people lived during that. So you can't take laws that were implemented back then and try to implement and that were applied back then and try to apply them here in 2024, because a lot of that stuff is obsolete and we can't move like that. Just like a lot of people say that their children are their property. It was easy to say that back in the days because you could actually own people, because slavery was legal. You know what I'm saying? There's a video, I wish I could find it on YouTube, where there were actually people who were they had their slaves registered, had them recorded in the county recorder's office, and those slaves are still there to this day on that record. I wish I could find that video. If I knew the name of the video, I would just drop it in the description box. But anyway. You can't use old, obsolete laws, obsolete, terminology and stuff like that, and try to apply it in modern day times and thinking you're gonna get a remedy like that. Anyway, back to the topic. Surety. What is a surety? One who, at the request of another, and for the purpose of securing to him a benefit, becomes responsible for the performance of the latter. You're responsible for the performance of the latter. Keyword. Latter of some act in favor of a third person. Okay, that's going to most likely be the creditor, the one who's going to receive the benefit. Okay, so you got three parties here. Say one person, say we're one who requests at the request of another for the purpose of securing him a benefit, becomes responsible for the performance. So the surety is the one who becomes responsible for the performance. Hold on a second. Becomes responsible for the performance by the latter of some act. By the latter of some act in favor of a third person. Or hypothecates. Look at this here so you can see what some of these words mean while we read them. See. Pledge by law. Pledge money by law to a specific purpose. Hypothecates property. Or hypothecates property as security therefore. Property right there. So you could use that to secure the debt or whatever. One who undertakes, that means to step in on behalf of somebody. Matter of fact, let me just click on that. Undertake. Commits oneself to and begin an enterprise or responsibility to take on. See what I said? To take on. One who undertakes, one takes on to pay money or to do any other act in event that the principal fails therein. Who's the principal? The principal is the straw man, as you call it. The legal name. One who undertakes. You are, see, most of y'all don't know you by default are the surety. We try our best to avoid that word because we've been taught and programmed not to claim to be the surety. And it's only because we have a lack of understanding of what our responsibility is and how we're supposed to walk in that office. Okay, I'm gonna call it the office for whatever. But in that position, that you're taking on that position anyway. You're doing it anyway. Because when someone trying to do business with the principal, who are they gonna come to? They're gonna notify you. You're gonna get the paperwork. They're coming to you so you can act as surety on the principal's behalf. Okay. One who undertakes, take on, to pay money. See, that's what you do for the principal when you get your bills. Say your light bill comes in the principal's name, and what you do, you give Federal Reserve notes. You pay money in order to pay the bills. But the only kind of money you ever known about was the Federal Reserve notes. So that's why we don't want to be surety, because we don't know how to do nothing but pay the Federal Reserve notes. We don't know how to tender any kind of payment in any kind of way. We don't know how to do it no other way. So we avoid the position altogether, mentally and even on our paperwork. One who undertakes to pay money or to do any other act. There's obviously, as you know, there's more than one way to get rid of to handle the situation. You could pay money or you can do any other act. There's another, unless you know there's another way to do it. In events that the principal fails therein, and you know it's going to fail because they can't do nothing. The straw man can do no thing. A legal fiction can do no thing. A person who is primarily liable for payment of debt or performance. Payment of debt or performance of an obligation of another. So it lets you know the surety, right here, the surety is liable for payment of debt or performance of obligation of another. Who's another? Another is the straw man. Okay, that's the all caps name. As you see, this is a case law. Branch Banking. You can download this 1990 Black's Law Dictionary, y'all. This is I like the 1990, and I'm a fan of it now. 1990. I think it's 6th edition. This thing has some very detailed information in there, and it's extremely powerful. I love it. Okay, one bound with his principal for payment. See, one bound with his principal. You the surety. You are the surety. One bound with his principal for payment or promise. See, again, they keep repeatedly saying there's more than one way to deal with the situation. Principal for payment of money, say one bound with his principal for payment of a sum of money, or for the performance of some duty or promise, and who is entitled to be indemnified by someone who ought to have paid or performed if payment or performance be enforced against him. See, so it's like once you operate as surety, you have right to be indemnified also. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, we're gonna keep moving. I'm trying to help y'all understand your position as the surety in the situations. Okay. I was talking to a buddy of mine. He got this, he be listening to. I love that dude. He good dude. But I be trying to get on to him because he got this mentor. He always mention these mentors that he listened to. Talking about a mentor and these buddies that claiming they out of the system and all this old shit, claiming they out of the system, and they're living in the private. I'm like, people that ain't got no proof or nothing. And they telling you the things that they're doing, and they can't give you no law to back up what they're saying. And then they got these processes, they telling you, they giving you half of that, like pieces of the process, but they want you to stay hush hush about what they're telling you, as if it's some type of esoteric information that they don't suppose that only a few know about, and we don't want it out there. So he give me a half-ass information about what these people done said, but no law to substantiate what they're actually saying. And that person, he's talking to that person about this screenshot. I sent him a screenshot of this actual term right here, this whole breakdown that I'm showing y'all. And he said, yo, you don't want to be the surety. You want to be the guarantor. You want to be the guarantor. Never want to be the surety. The surety takes on all the liability. And then, like, the way they word him, like, I say, they don't know what they're talking about. You are the surety. I said, well, they out of the system. I said, I don't give a fuck what they told you. They don't know what the fuck they talking about. They read what this damn thing said. Fuck what your mentor said. Read what this shit is saying. Because the law tells you that these are law dictionaries. Stop trying to undermine what these the descriptions that these things are actually saying. The actual resources are telling you, because you're listening to these people on the damn internet, or somebody you met some kind of way. They're claiming they done made these moves that ain't nobody else made. Like, we don't. Anyway, read the material, get your own understanding. Anyway, guarantor and surety compared. Okay. As you're going to learn, before I get started, you're going to see that the guarantor is basically, that's another fancy word for a cosigner. But check this out. The surety and guarantor have this in common. They are both bound for another person. Yet, there are points of differences between them. A surety is usually bound with his principal by the same instrument. What instrument are they talking about? Now, we talking about default, before any contract. Before any contractual agreement has even took place. You got an instrument that bounds you in your surety anyway. That would be most likely that birth certificate you're talking about. Certificate of live birth. But anyway, they're bound and it's executed at the same time and on the same consideration. So anyway, even on an application, same time, same consideration. Because you actually say you're applying for a car. You're the one putting the legal name on the document. You're putting the information on there. You're putting the social security number on there, the address on there. All your information that you need to put on there. Your phone number on there. The same information that you use that information to conduct business. You, being the surety, are bound by, because you, the surety, wrote that information on that application. You wrote the straw man information on the application, so y'all are bound. You're bound together with the principal by the same instrument, whether it's the birth certificate or a contract. Either way, it's the same instrument, executed at the same time and on the same consideration. Okay, contract requires equal consideration, right? Okay, he is an original promisor and debtor from the beginning. And he is held ordinarily to every known default of his principal. So if it's saying that the principal has not, there's no payment being paid, the principal, there's nothing on the account saying that the payment has been fulfilled on behalf of the principal, then you as the surety, you are bound. You are ordinarily say he is an original promisor and debtor from the beginning, and he is held ordinarily. He's ordinarily to every known default of his principal. So when it's late, when it's behind, you behind. If it's behind on the bill, then you behind on the bill. So that's why it's your job as the surety to perform on his behalf, so both of y'all stay in good standing. Okay. On the other hand, the contract of a guarantor is his own separate undertaking. Keep in mind, undertaking, we looked at it, it says been stepping in on behalf of somebody else. Say take on, okay? Say in which the principal does not join, okay? It's like a cosigner. Say it is usually entered into before or after that of the principal, and it is often founded on a separate consideration from that supporting the contract of the principal. The original contract of the principal is not the guarantor's contract, and the guarantor is not bound to take notice of its non-performance. The surety the surety joins in the same promise as the principal and is primarily liable. Okay, and the guarantor makes a separate and individual promise and is only secondarily liable. Okay, his liability is contingent on the default of his principal, and he only becomes. Let me shift it on over. He only becomes absolutely liable when such a default takes place and he is notified thereof. Surety and guarantor are both answerable for debt, default, or miscarriage of another, but liability of guarantor is strictly speaking secondary and collateral, while that of surety is original, primary, and direct. In case of suretyship, there is but one contract. The surety is bound by the same agreement which binds his principal. While in case of guarantee, there are two contracts, and guarantor is bound by independent undertaking. That's Howell versus Commission. Hopefully, I got that right with the guarantor. But it sounds to me like a cosigner. So, anyway, I'm really focusing on the surety, so we can understand your role as a surety. You actually are the surety. Okay, you're the surety for your principal. Okay, that's why you're supposed to be performing on his behalf. The surety is an insurer of the debt or obligation of another. A guarantor is an insurer of the insolvency of the principal debtor, or of his ability to pay. See, insolvency, that's when somebody can't pay. Let's see. It says the possession of an asset in excess of liabilities, ability to pay one's debt. Okay. Here we go. Now let's see what else. I want to go down some more words when it comes to this stuff. Where would I want to? Something else I want to show. Suretyship. Here we go. Suretyship is the relationship among three parties. Again, y'all, this is Black's Law Dictionary, 1990 version. I want to say this is sixth edition. So this is where I'm getting this from. So I'm sure many of you can download this offline or something. It's easy to find. It's not hard to find. But so you can have some valid resources that you can study this stuff with. The relationship among three parties whereby one person, the surety, guarantees payment of the debtor's debt owed to a creditor. See, the debtor, say if you got a car loan, That's the debtor's debt owed to the creditor, the financing company. The surety is the person who actually guarantees the payment. That's you. Okay, that's you. You got to make the payment on the debtor's behalf. You're operating as the like a puppet master. You know what I'm saying? Like the puppet can't do anything and move around on its own until you pull the strings. You know what I'm saying? So keep in mind that the debtor can do no thing. The legal fiction can do no thing. Only the surety got to move on his behalf. Relationship among three parties, whereby one person, the surety, guarantees payment of a debtor's debt owed to a creditor, or acts as a co-debtor. A lot of times we act as a co-debtor because you don't know who you are. You don't know you're the surety, so you act as a co-debtor. You act as one and the same with the straw man. Generally speaking, the relationship which exists where one person has undertaken an obligation and another person is also under an obligation or another duty. Notice, no, mama, keep going. Or another duty to the obligee, who is entitled. That's the one who receives. Who is entitled, but to one performance, and as between the two who are bound, one rather than the other should perform. See what I'm talking about? The other ain't supposed to perform anyway. It's not expected to perform. You are the one that's expected to perform. But you bound yourself. You put yourself in that situation because you don't want to put the information on the application. You operate as the surety when you first put the information on there. You know you're not the all caps name, but you put it on the application. So you bound because you're operating as a surety. You just got to understand that you are the surety and you're supposed to perform. Okay? But there are ways to perform that keeps you free. So you got to understand that. There are ways to perform that keeps you free, keeps you from being liable. Okay? Now, let's see. Suretyship. Suretyship of a contract. Contract or suretyship. I'm going to read this here and I probably stop right here because I think this video is long enough. And I just want y'all to understand about the surety. Okay? You got to understand this. Contract, whereby one party engages to be answerable for a debt, default, or miscarriage. Sorry about that. Miscarriage of another, and arises when one is liable to pay a debt. Says it liable to pay debt or discharge obligation. You see where I'm going with this, y'all? You as a surety, you are liable to either pay the debt or discharge the motherfucker. You got to do one of the two. Okay? That's your job as a surety. It's your job to either pay the debt, and the only way you know how to pay it is with Federal Reserve notes. That's the only way we've ever been taught how to pay anything is with Federal Reserve notes, which is one of the main reasons child support scares so many people. Many people don't know how to do shit else other than get a job and let them take it out your check. And that is like debt slavery. But when you know how to do other things like discharge an obligation, then you don't be scared of no shit like no child support. Okay? That's gonna be another video for another discussion. But we're gonna be talking about some of that later on, okay? Discharging obligations. As a surety, you're supposed to do that. Then you ain't got to worry about no debt scaring you or no shit like that. There are different instruments that you could use to discharge. Birth certificate is one of them, but we're gonna keep going. Okay. And party is entitled to indemnity from person who should have made the payment in the first instance before surety was so compelled. Okay. A contract whereby one person engages to be answerable for a debt. A contract whereby one person engages to be answerable for a debt, default, or miscarriage of another. Say, an accessory promise by which a person binds himself for another, already bound. The straw man was already bound, but you bound yourself too. Let's use the child support situation for that. You know, we all do it and don't even realize the fuck we do it. A lot of us don't even know court process, and we're learning that as we go too. I am one of those too. Okay, So I'm learning how to operate. I'm learning how to move differently now. So because when it comes to this type of shit here, this is probably one of the most powerful things you can learn how to do in court. Okay? Because everything is about the money. It's all about the money. It got shit to do with you not want to take care of your child. You done abandon your child. You abandon your responsibility. They use those subject matter arguments, accusations that are really criminal. If they were real, true, if they were true, you wouldn't be in no civil matter. Your ass would be in jail if you abandon a child or stuff like that. Using abandonment and abductions and shit like that. Those types of words that they use in the accusations. If those were really true, then your ass wouldn't be in a civil matter. You'll be in jail for something criminal, and you'll be charged for it. But they use those arguments to get you locked up in there, and you arguing, and you find yourself bound. And I did the same thing even in mine. In my answer, I'm sitting here, I really gave him an answer, which was a counterclaim type of answer, when I should not have. If I'd have known what I'm showing y'all now, I would have responded a hell of a lot different. Okay, but better late than never, and I did that. Okay, so an accessory promise by which one person binds himself for another already bound, and agrees with the creditor to satisfy the obligation. If the creditor does not, if the debtor does not, so you agreed to perform, you didn't perform. A lending of credit to aid a principal. A lending of credit to aid a principal having insufficient credit of his own. The one expected to pay, who is that? Having the primary obligation being the principal. Okay? And the one bound to pay if the principal does not, being the surety. That is you. Okay, so we're gonna put that to bed, y'all, saying that you're not the surety. You are the surety for your legal name. Your job is to take care of the situation when it comes to your legal name. You are the surety, and your job is to. If you see that it shows, and I just went through exactly based on the valid sources. It tells you exactly what you need to do as the surety. Defenses of, I said I was going to stop there, but I'm going to read this little part because I did this before I started recording. Defenses of a surety against the creditor that are dependent on the surety status. As such. And that are tied to the conduct of the creditor. And are tied to the conduct of the creditor that alters or modifies the principal debtor's obligation. They're going to alter it or modify it. They say it's okay. Or impairs collateral. It's a suretyship defenses now. Or impairs collateral for the obligation. Okay, I want to also. Do I want to go to that law real quick? I thought it's kind of deep. It's pretty good. Y'all see, I want to stop this damn recording, but for some reason I'm hard-headed. Was that 10.7.5? Is that 10.7.4? I think it's 10.7.4. It's 10.7.4. I'm in Georgia, y'all, but hey, I'm gonna show y'all this anyway. This kind of caught my attention, so it goes right there with it. Okay, so I'm gonna make this big so you can see what I'm talking about here. 10.7.4, Georgia Code. Immaterial. Say the form of the contract is immaterial, provided that the fact that suretyship exists. Let me make this bigger. I made it bigger earlier. Why the hell I made it small all over again? The form of a contract. The form of the contract is immaterial. What does that mean? And what does immaterial mean? Unimportant under the circumstances. Irrelevant. Okay? Irrelevant. Unimportant. Unsignificant. Let's see, of little account. Beside the point. Not to the point. Anyway, you get the idea. Provided the fact of suretyship exists. So when you start operating as in your right position, then the form of the contract is immaterial. But it was something else I was going to show too. Let me see. I want to say it was 3. Yeah, that's it. The contract of suretyship is one of strict law, and the surety's liability will not be extended to implication or interpretation. Most of us never even talk about what it is that we don't even bring it up, and we just arguing. We arguing as if we are the principal. You're not the principal. The principal is the legal name. The principal is the name on the docket, the name in all caps. Say it will not be extended by implication. It would not be extended, cause to cover or cause to cover a larger area, make it longer or wilder by implication. Okay? They'll try to imply any damn thing. They'll try to imply that you're operating as the principal and you're not the principal. Say it will not be extended by their implication or interpretation. And they will try it. So anyway, I thought that was kind of interesting. So I'll share that. But I'm gonna close with that, y'all. But I'm gonna get on up out of here, and hopefully y'all see that's in commercial code, right? A lot of y'all, you think that Georgia law, like the state laws, is not important, and you don't supposed to read it. You don't supposed to read it. Let me show you. Let me see what I said. Where's that thing at? A lot of times we don't want to read the things when it comes to the law, the codes or whatever. Let me see if I can find it. Something else. Never mind. I ain't gonna do that. I'm gonna shut it on down. But anyway, I thought I'd do that little video so you can see for yourself. But hopefully y'all get the gist of what I meant, what my point was, actually showing you about suretyship and what your position is, and that the fact that there are two ways to actually deal with a debt on behalf of your principal. And a lot of y'all been hearing a lot about negotiable instruments, and y'all see that there are negotiable instruments that you can be using to actually deal with the debts. Okay. You might want to take on reading Security Act of 1934. You got, Bill of Exchange Act. You got the Federal Reserve Act of Federal Reserve Act, specifically Part 16, Section 16, Part 1 and 2. You got a lot of material out here to read. Read your laws. These things I just mentioned, they're all inside the laws. Okay, I'm gonna show you something else real quick. And I'm just gonna open it up and just show you what I'm talking about. Just one example. Negotiable instruments. See? Commercial code. They talk about negotiable instruments. All this stuff, you'll find them in your laws. You just gotta be willing to read your laws. And a lot of times the laws explain it a lot better than, because if you're gonna look at USC codes, well, why not look at your state codes? It's just an extension of the federal. USC is the federal. The state code's a state. So anyway, let me get on up out of here, y'all. See y'all in the next video. Signing out.